Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. And we've got plenty of that here on the grid as well. 20,000 horsepower, give or take, chomping at the bit to be unleashed for the Chinese Grand Prix. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill and a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1 and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty. You like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, there's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you got turn 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
Okay, Jeff here. Can you hear me? We're not starting where we hoped, so you need to be aggressive today and push your way through the field.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Rosberg, Sebastian Vettel and Kvyat, Button, Massa, Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz, Bottas, Grosjean, Sergio Perez and Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Gutierrez, Marcus Ericsson and Felipe Nasser, Palmer and a McLaren, Rio Haryanto and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
The effervescent Anthony Davidson. Yeah, well, I haven't heard that one before. But anyway, hello there, my name is Lovespuds. We are at round 3, and yes, I didn't have a great qualifying, as you may have noticed. I've only just about got ahead of the Manners. I was just having a look at something or other there, I can't quite remember. But anyway, we're just going to pull away from the grid on the formation lap at what is pretty much the back of the grid, because yes, I did change it to Legend, and this is what happened. So, it does get better during the race, but qualifying and practice just seems out of my reach. The race, not so bad, strange enough, so now I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to stick with Legend or do Expert on practice and qualifying and Legend in the race, or what? I do not know. Maybe I'll just stick with Expert for Russia, because that's not a track I know that well. I never even played it that much in 2014 or 15, so I'll stick with Expert for that and see what happens. I don't know how far along the line I'm going to go before I decide on a difficulty level, but at least you can change it between gameplay sessions. But this is my qualifying lap. I basically did this lap and gave up when I found the result. But I don't think it's that bad a lap. It's just, you know, I mean, obviously you could always do better on some certain corners, and I'm not a fan of the Chinese circuit anyway. I never have been. Some corners I like, some I don't. But there you go. I mean, the track was designed on a symbol after all of their language, so can't be that mad, I suppose. I'm not really a fan of straights, to be honest. I'd rather have like twisty sections. But this is how the lap went down. On my Delta, I'm just flicking between even Stevens and being down or up a few tenths. So as you can see, I am struggling. The initial practice session was wet, so that was great fun. Got my first experience of coming out on the wet on the track that I'm not really fond of. But actually, surprisingly enough, I quite like the wet weather driving. It's kind of weird. It sort of makes sense in this version of the game, and I never have a good time in the wet. We'll have to put that in practice on actual race pace, but on the track acclimatization, I was going through those gates, like lots of purples there, so I must be going at a decent enough speed, and I did set up quite a decent time, I have to say, in practice, and then I changed it to legend after that, but still, just coming through here, so it's a 1:38, no, 39.7, couldn't quite see it, I was sat too far back. But here we go, let's go for the race, see if we can get a good start, which actually we do. We actually get a much better start than Nasser there. It sort of surprised me, and Gutierrez, he didn't get a good start either, he lost a couple of places. Palmer's made up a few, so I'm going to make up most of my positions up this inside line here, which a lot of the AI don't seem to want to take for some reason. I don't know if they can trust themselves, maybe, but you know, I always make up a few places going up the inside there, and I can actually hold it without actually bashing into them, which is quite nice. So that catapults us up to 14th, and I actually carried too much speed in here, so which is why I had to dive up the inside. Passing the two Force Indias. It won't be the last we see of them. So that almost puts us near the points, and not far away from Button, who must be around 9th or so by now. So this is why I'm still a bit confused, because in the race I don't actually do that bad, although towards the end it does go a little bit crap. But I think that was more down to tyre wear than anything else, to be honest. Or just a mismanaged strategy, I don't know, because I'm on a different one. I've got softs and mediums. I probably should have changed up to super softs and soft for a strategy, but you know, you live and learn. I was kind of hoping that the mediums would be better in the end. But that's Perez trying to come back through, and they do brake later than me on this hairpin. I don't know what to do about this hairpin. To brake later or earlier or whatever. Braking earlier doesn't help, and neither does braking later. There must be some sweet spot that I'm missing there, but I do make my way around the corner pretty well, which is a good compromise, I suppose. The AI actually go around this first corner okay now. They used to have a bit of a problem in, I think it was 2012 or 2013, one of the two. They were always white slow on that corner. It didn't make no sense, but now they're actually taking it properly, and that's a good thing. Makes it a bit harder. Coming up the inside of Bottas gives us room, and I give him room as well, so that's a fair move, I think. Up to 11th. I'm going to try and make it into the points if I can today. I don't think we're going to end up with a podium finish like we did in Bahrain, but Bahrain's a much better circuit for me than Shanghai, that's for sure. So just up the backside of Sainz. He was actually having quite a solid season in the real life. He's not had much publicity. I think that's more to do with Max Verstappen. Ended up getting promoted just before the Spanish Grand Prix. But he's had quite a solid season. He's done quite well for himself, although he's just been pushed out of the limelight, to be honest. Hopefully he doesn't get overlooked for a half-decent drive. But he's not really, you know, blowing us all the way either. He's very consistent, and that may help him in his career, but you know, a lot of people have been consistent and lost F1 drives in the past, so you can't really, you can't really odds it these days. It's going up the inside of Sainz and Massa, and there's Button right there in 7th, just getting past Verstappen, or either that is holding on to his place from Verstappen. Either way, he's under a bit of pressure. And ideally, we want to find our way past Button. I'm not too worried about anyone else but him, for obvious reasons. In the rivalry contest, that's not really much of a contest, because I'm probably about to win it, if not won it already, because it does tick up after practice and qualifying sessions. but I found my way past Verstappen, so it's a start. I'm basically just gunning for Jensen, want to get ahead of him. Probably taking a lot out of my tyres to do this, and it's not ideal being on the soft tyres compared to their super softs, but I think I'm doing pretty well for myself as we come down the back straight of Doom. It's pretty much Honda's worst nightmare, these long straights. But we do get a bit of DRS because we're on lap 3 already. That time just flew past. Jensen dives into the pits, so we need a couple of good laps to come out of this. Hopefully we'll jump him in the pits, but you never know. He'll be on the softs, and then I'll be on the mediums, but with the softs, hopefully I've got enough grip in hand to put in a decent lap here, providing I don't mess it up as I usually do. So 4th, not bad place to be. 4.9 seconds. Do sort of start forming a little train behind me, but at least it's not the whole field. And this is why you think I'm so confused about my difficulty level, because they seem so much quicker in practice and qualifying compared to the race that it doesn't seem right. just seems a bit weird. But unless I maybe just should be faster in qualifying or something, I don't know. I can only do so much in practice because you know, they do expect you to be a certain speed, especially on the tyre wear tests. I can do the tyre wear fine. It's just the speed. It's just like always a second off, and I used to lose, and I was losing a lot of time on this hairpin, like half a second every time, and I don't know why. But still, I think that was Ricciardo at the race there. He'd parked up by the side of the road, which is unfortunate for him, but good for us. And we're actually leading this race, strangely enough, for all the good it's going to do us. But we've got Perez and Magnussen behind, who haven't pitted yet, I don't believe. Magnussen on the same tyre strategy as me, it seems, I think. So I think the leaders are probably in that bunch going around the second, third corners round about now. There's a bit of a lock up there, I think. Not ideal, but I'm just flicking the mixture up to Rich. I thought that maybe that could help as well, since I'm about to go into pits. And that airplane taking off there in the distance actually kind of distracted me a little bit, because I was actually looking at it. It's like, oh, I shouldn't be looking at this, I should be concentrating. But at least it didn't go off the track, which is the main thing. This is a tricky bit as well. I'm trying to find the best line to get in there. I think maybe I should go slower on entry and then get more speed out. But it's the traction coming out of that corner that gets me every time. And I think everyone else is faster than me at doing that, which doesn't put us in a great position going down the straight, which is a bit of a weakness. So I think this third sector is pretty rubbish for me in general. Be careful coming out of there as well. The wheel spin can get you, can bite you in the ass. But just coming over the line now, starting the 6th lap. Not too bad. Do go a bit wide on that corner, but some of the F1 drivers actually do go wide on certain corners to maximise their traction and yada 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 and all that jazz. Though they don't go really as wide as that if they can help it. A lot of people have their different lines as well. It's whatever works for you, really. Within reason. I mean, you still got to put in a fast lap time. So in general, what is actually going on in the real F1 world? I haven't actually spoken much about it at all so far, just because I didn't know when I was going to be able to upload these videos in relevance to what's actually going on at the moment. But they're on summer break right now, and then they got Spa coming up this weekend. Assuming this video goes up before the weekend, which I hope it does. Should be absolutely fine, barring any editing issues, which I've actually come across a few, strange enough, with this OBS and Shadowplay rubbish, because Shadowplay also has its own problems with not recording at a constant frame rate. It's a variable one, and I just completely fuck up going into the pit lane here, so I'll lose all that earned time, if I earned any at all. I think that's where it starts to go downhill. That entry, that single entry into the pit lane, just got too much wheel spin, got onto the grass, and then that was it from there on end. So not a bad pit stop. 2 seconds is not too shabby at all. It's one of the fastest pit stops ever. I think the record is like 2 seconds or 2.1. So we're back behind Verstappen. If I hadn't have messed up the entry to the pit lane, that probably would have been us in the middle of that group there. Probably just in front of Sainz and behind the Williams. I'm just trying to see make a move up the inside. That kind of took me by surprise as well, because I didn't quite get the entry or the exit right on that one. But we got what we wanted, and that's to be ahead of Verstappen. Sainz coming up again, so we need to make our way past. And they're actually on the medium tyres as well. That's quite surprising. I thought they would be on the softs, but I think maybe the medium tyre might be what everyone else is doing. It's all mostly down to tyre management. I think this is probably the game that I've most noticed that they actually do have tyre wear. I mean, they're quite fast by the end, but I think it's because they manage their tyres quite well. Even for that, I'm just deluding myself. But still, that's life. Anyway, what was I going to talk about? Oh yes, so yeah, Belgian Grand Prix is coming up. Hamilton is probably in a bit of trouble with his engines. So I don't think he's got that many left, or if he's got any left at all, because he'll start needing to taking penalties. This could end up being Rosberg's year if he has any more problems. Then again, he had quite a few problems in 2014 as well, and he managed to claw that back. So, you know, you never know. The man I want to see win a world championship, apart from Kimi. Another world championship for him. But I'd like to see Daniel Ricciardo in a competitive car, and actually get him to win the championship. That would be really good to see. Being such a down-to-earth kid. Why do I keep calling him a kid? It's kind of strange. He's actually the same age as me, I think. But anyway, yeah, it'd be good to see him winning races again after the amazing season he had in 2014. I think he was pretty much the only winner apart from Hamilton and Rosberg that year. Still, I hope it doesn't get cast aside in favour of Verstappen, even though Verstappen is a bit of a young genius. I still want to see Ricciardo win. Verstappen's time will come, no doubt about that. I mean, 17/18 now, and already won a race. That's pretty good. The boy's got balls. Give him that.
We're only a second away from the car ahead. Let's see if we can use DRS to pass him. So the gap to our teammate is 4.2 seconds.
4.2 seconds to Button, just going up the inside of Sainz. Just going to see if I can maybe catch up to these two Williams, but that might be a bit too much of an ask considering they've got the Mercedes engines in there. Still, we never say never, and we keep trying. So what's this? Lap 9 of 14. My best lap 141.1. I mean, it's okay. And in mind, we got more fuel on board than we would have towards the end of the race as usual. But my laps don't really tend to get all that faster. I mean, I'm 2/10 up on the delta there. But I think that's just because we had an unusually good sector, or just a better one than last lap, so it doesn't really matter. So it's kind of misleading in some ways. I would kind of like to see that almost like an option to change it between your fastest lap overall or the pace from your last lap. Either have one or the other, or maybe even have both, just to compare, to see what you're doing. Although I suppose the one where you see a delta from the previous lap is probably the more useful one, so you can see your pace-to-pace lap, lap-to-lap pace, and that's what I'm after. You just have to excuse me a minute because I can feel a coughing fit coming on. So I'm just going to mute my microphone. Right, so there we go, that's much better. And of course my microphone decided to disconnect itself as well, so yep, all gravy. Anyway, let's get back to it. Obviously I haven't done this length of commentary for a while. It's obviously doing something to my throat, but I'll get used to it again. But then again, I do talk all day in my job, so especially on Mondays and Fridays. Just having a look. I didn't actually mean to open up the radio communication thing, as I completely messed up the hairpin there. I was just pressed the wrong button basically. Oh, and I fucked that up as well. As if it wasn't already going tits up, I bagger up my front wing and then I get pushed wide by Kvyat, and Verstappen gives him whack as well. So I just come back for the inside, but that's an illegal overtake, and I have to give it back to Verstappen because I overtook under yellows, I believe. I think so anyway, because I certainly didn't overtake him off the track. But anyway, normal service resumed. Got damage to my front wing that's going to affect me, and now I've got basically only a few laps left to hang on to what I've got, and that's one single point in 10th. Kvyat's not far behind, I'm pretty sure he'll take that, and I don't think even Button's that far away as well, which is unfortunate because that's obviously my priority target, because I'm definitely not going to win the championship this year unless I have something spectacular happen. But as you can see, damage front left portion of my wing, and Kvyat is sailing past, which I'm not really surprised about. There's not much more I can do about that. Another corrective move out the hairpin there. If I didn't fuck it up in the first place coming out that hairpin, it might have been alright. that's us out of the points, unfortunately. With our teammate looking to spoil our day. Jensen, man, how can you do this to me? But back up to 10th.
Right, some information on Grosjean. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Don't quite know what happened there. Something I obviously missed. Well, I missed it in the race as well. I wasn't paying that much attention. I was just trying to catch up to Kvyat. Either way, we're back in the points, and Button clearly wants that point. I mean, after all, I've got plenty to spare. It's not as if I'm going to lose my position to him in the championship. But of course, we never want that to happen. We want to finish in front of him all the time. Oh, and there he goes. Lined me up, hook, line and sinker. Trying to think of getting back past him, but I don't want to take him out. Obviously that would be the worst thing to happen. Two teammates colliding. Yeah, no shit, is in the next car ahead. He's taken my point from him, but you know, if I don't put up too much of a fight, he can maybe try and catch Kvyat and pass him if possible, but I don't think there's enough laps to do that in, to be honest. Might as well guarantee the point for the team rather than mess it up for both of us. After all, at least my target position is only 13th. But then again, it could all go wrong. It still could go wrong. There's still a lap and 3/4 to go. With Perez with a Mercedes engine not too far behind me. And it's at this point I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably a good idea to let Button go, really. At least I can protect that position for him. Do the best I can, I suppose, in the closing laps to make sure he doesn't get caught.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
1 lap of fuel. Well, not precisely 1 lap of fuel, but I'm on standard and I'm clawing some back. 0.22 laps of fuel left. Yeah, just going round the corner to start the penultimate lap. Go a bit wide there. I think maybe my tyre wear is a bit worse than other people. As Perez just flies up the inside, and I'm just going to come back on the inside again. Wasn't quite expecting him to be flying through that quickly. But it's not just my tyre wear as well, it's the fact that my wing's damaged and it's not going to help me around the corners. So, you know, it's not ideal. So, we're just hoping that we can hang on and not lose too many places now. Because there's like 3 cars behind me and I don't want to lose all 3 positions. Actually, there might be... yeah, there's 3. If I'm going to lose positions, it can only be 2. Because I do not want to miss my target. And that's Lewis Hamilton through the checkered flag for the race win. So he'll claw some points back in the championship. Don't quite know where Rosberg's finished, but we'll see at the end of the race. And look at that. Bloody Perez flying past, and so does bloody Hulkenberg. So we can hang around the outside to hang on for that 12th place, and kind of looks like I do actually. Final corner, and across the line. 12th place, it'll do, considering I started at basically the back of the grid.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
Right, so there we go, there's the final standings. Rosberg, I think, was 4th there. So not too shabby, 38 seconds behind the leader, that's not too bad. So unfortunately no points for us, 1 for Jensen and the team.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, the lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Today I'm going to give it to the McLaren driver. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Another team that excelled today was Williams, who make further progress up the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Yes, the McLaren driver. Oh, can you just tell me which one that is? Oh well, still, that was an alright race. It could have been worse. And we're just finding out where we're standing in the team. We're in the purple anyway, so that's not too bad at all. Didn't beat Jensen, which is fine. Reign 10th and 10th or higher in the championship should be not too bad of a goal for the season. Since we had that podium in Bahrain, that's helped us quite a bit. But anyway, it's now evening, and you can see that we've won the rivalry, and you know, I'm guess someone else will come along to be my rival. I don't know how it works yet. I'm sure it'll come up eventually. But anyway, join us next time in Russia for round 4. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.